Yes, dear student, we are continuing with the same thing, with the same chapter, that education system under the Britishers. So, now, up to now, we have discussed that what kind of routine was there, what kind of education system was there under the Britishers. Just I am recapitulating that. First of all, there were two groups of the Britishers. First one, Orientalist, those who want to impart education through Indian learning. The second group, those who wanted to impart the education in Indians through Western learning. Later on, first Orientalist, through Orientalist, the education was imparting in Indians. Later on, the things were changed. Now they have started imparting Western learning through English language. Means English language was introduced at that time. The main purpose was to make the Indians civilized. So the Indians would work according to the Britishers because they wanted to control over not only the Indian territories but Indian culture also. So it would be easier for them to control the people, those who are following the British culture, those who have adopted the British culture. It will easier for them to control the people, those who are following the same culture. So only purpose was to introduce the English language is that. The second purpose was to make the people educated, so the people they can work in the offices of the British officials on the lower levels only, because the Indians, they were not allowed to move on the higher places in earlier times, in East India Company times. So it will be easier to manage the lower class work like the clerks. That's why the English was introduced not only in the schools but it was also promoted for the higher education also. And the special privileges were given to the people, those who learned English, and definitely the more jobs were provided to them, those who were ready to serve the Britishers. So new routines and new rules were set up. In pre-British times, the English education system was very much flexible. No fixed timetable, no fixed rules. Only one teacher was teaching the kids. No annual examinations were there. The things means the school was flexible according to the requirement of the parents. Like if the parents they are rich, they can pay more. If the parents they are poor, they have to pay less. Like no fixed fees were there. Such kind of system was there at that time. Now they have changed a lot of the Indian education. So what was the agenda for national education? The British officials were not only the people thinking about the education in India. From the early 19th century, many thinkers from different parts of India began to talk of the need of the wider spread of education, impressed with the developments in Europe. Some Indians felt that Western education would help modernize India. They argued the British to open more schools, colleges, and universities and spend more money on education. And definitely, you will be going to read all this about in our next chapter. But Mahatma Gandhi argued that colonial education created a sense of inferiority in the minds of Indians. Definitely, he believed that English education just enslaved Indian under the British rule, under the British culture. He always appreciating that Indian education, Indian, not only the Indian education, but the Indian institution also, those who are providing the Indian education. Mahatma Gandhi wanted an education that could help Indians to recover and their sense of dignity and self-respect. That's why he just asked the people, Indian people, to spin charkha for at least 2 hours in a day. And he also asked the Indian to purchase the Indian goods only. So it may give the Indian weavers and the planters to provide an opportunity to the Indian planters and weavers to earn their livelihood. So such kind of education must be imparted on that. He also asked to focus not only on education but also for the extra reading and writing rather than the oral knowledge. He valued textbook, but he also valued to give experience and practical knowledge also. So that everybody, they can learn or they can earn their livelihood through their practical knowledge. People had to work with their own hands, learn a craft, and know how different things they are operated. So he wanted to impart different education in the Indians. This would develop their mind and their capacity to understand. As a nationalist sentiment spread, other thinkers also began thinking of the same, of the natural education. This would be radically different from that set up by the British. Now, Tagore, Abode of Peace. Many of you have heard about the Shanti Niketan. Shanti Niketan, or maybe Rabindranath Tagore. The Shanti Niketan is an institution of Rabindranath Tagore. And Rabindranath Tagore started this institution in 1901. Again, one more question can be there. When the Abode of Peace was started by Rabindranath Tagore. So, as a child, Rabindranath Tagore hated to go in school because he felt suffocated while sitting in a class. He felt that he was under a prison and he could never do what he felt like doing. So while teaching other children, those who listened to the teacher, Tagore's mind would wander away. The experience of his school days in Calcutta shaped Tagore's ideas of education. On growing up, he wanted to set up a school where the children, they were happy. They could be free and creative, and not only in the class. They would feel that they are the slaves or the culprits in a prison, but they will be able to move freely, and such kind of education should be imparted to the children so they can explore their own ideas, thoughts and desires. So Tagore felt that childhood ought to be a best time of self-learning outside the rigid or the restricting discipline of the schooling system set up by the Britishers. He set up a new school with a creative learning that could be encouraged only within a natural environment. So he chose to set up his school 100 kilometers away from Calcutta. In a rural setting, he saw it as an abode of peace, means where the peace is provided to the children and they are free to learn what they wanted to be. In living in harmony with nature, and the children where they could easily cultivate their own natural creativity. In many senses, Tagore and Mahatma Gandhi thought about the education in similar ways. But there were differences also. Gandhiji was highly criticized the Western civilization and the worships of machines and technology. But Tagore wanted to combine elements of both modern Western civilization with what he saw at the best within the Indian tradition. Means that Tagore wanted to impart the best education to the children, whether it was taken from the Western learning and must be provided to the students with some Indian culture and text. So this debate about to be known as a national education ought to be continued till after independence. Means those who are argued to create the education, the people were educated in a culture that was truly national. So such kind of debate still, I think still it is continued, not properly settled by our educationists. So education as a civilizing minds. until the introduction of the Education Act in 1870. There was no widespread education was the population as a whole for the most of the 19th century. Child labor being widely prevalent, poor children could not be sent to school for their earning and was critical for the survival of the family. Yes, my dear student, it was one of the drawback of the fixed timetable, I think, at that time, not now, at that time. Because when the timetable was not fixed, when the session was not fixed, so it was easier, and fee was not fixed. It was easier for the poor people to send their children to school, because at the time of the requirement that children easily help their parents in their work, at the time of harvesting, you can say, or in the time of other work also. But later on, when the fee was fixed, the session was fixed, and it was not easier for the poor people to send their children to school. At that time, the child labor was also widely prevalent in the scenario. The number of schools was also limited to those run by the church to set up the wealthy individuals. It was only after the coming into force of the Education Act the schools were opened by the government and compulsory schooling was introduced. So one of the most important educational thinkers of the period was the Thomas Arnold, who became the headmaster of the private schools, favoring a secondary education curriculum which had a detailed study of the Greek and Roman classics written 2000 years earlier also. Arnold felt that a study of the classics disciplined the mind. In fact, the most educators of the time believed that such a discipline was necessary because young people were naturally savage and needed to be controlled. So, dear students, to become proper civilized adults, it needed to understand society notions to right and wrong. So, if from today onwards start thinking that if a teacher is asking you or forcing you while studying or to do study, maybe it is a teacher or maybe parents also, so they are only there for your convenience, because it is from the earlier times also it is believed when you are a small, so some guidance must be required by the side of the parents or the teachers, both, because both they are in the favor of you people, because the both communities they try to make your future. So there is a comparison between the pre-British time education system and under British time education system. If you want to see, the pre-British time looks good, but under British time, when the disciplines are there, new rules have been made, I think this must be followed by each and every student, because only by following the rules and regulation we are able to compete in such a modern era also. Then it's our, as a parents, as a teachers, it's our moral responsibility to imbibe the students, to tell the students that we have to follow rules and regulations in every aspect of the life. It doesn't mean that you are a student you have to follow the rules and regulation, but still those who are the adults, they are also following the rules and regulation under under the, you can say, for the whole life they have to follow the rules and regulations. So this is all for the day, and the chapter is completed, and later on we will discuss the exercise.